Hi there, welcome back to my channel. This is Medeaij, and today's video is going to be the finale of my eyeshadow palette collection and declutter for 2021. Whew, I am so excited. I feel relieved that I said that. I am hoping I don't get the urge to buy any more eyeshadow palettes after this video is recorded, but if I do, I will add clips or maybe do one more part. But this is part number 5, and if you haven't seen my other 4 parts, definitely check the description box. Also check part 1 where I explain what it is that I'm doing with these eyeshadow palettes and all of that good stuff. Let's get into it because we do have quite a lot to get through. So yeah, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't and turn on that notification bell. On my channel, I do product reviews, makeup tutorials, eyeshadow palette collections, makeup recommendations, a lot of work looks, a lot of easy to achieve types of looks, and again, product recommendations, fragrances, and all of that good stuff. So if that sounds like a dream, then definitely subscribe to the channel and let's jump right in. All right, so once I have gone through this, I am going to give this space a good arrange, a good sort out, and I'll show you what it looks like at the end. So I'm very, very excited for that. Okay, first things first, let me take out my big babies. These are my P. Louise palettes. I am not going to get rid of any of them, but I am going to show you what they look like. They're so big. So the first palette is the P. Louise Secret Sinners palette. One of the things that I love most about P. Louise palettes is the packaging. I feel like she puts in a lot of effort when it comes to her packaging, and I appreciate it. So this palette, though it's bulky, I have used it a few times, but when I set up my vanity, I should be able to use these palettes more. This is what it looks like. It's a full matte palette, and it's got these beautiful tones. Very, very beautiful eyeshadow palette. Nice warm colors, pops of color. Great for everyday and party types of looks. So I'm definitely keeping. The next one is the Waldy palette, which looks like this, very similar to the Secret Sinner in terms of look, but this one is a little longer. They also do have a mirror in case if you've never seen them. I believe these palettes are either discontinued now or she's trying to sell the last few that she's got. And this one. Have I used this? I've used this maybe once or twice, or yeah, maybe once or twice, and it's ridiculous why I haven't used it. They're statement pieces, absolutely gorgeous. Her quality is fantastic. Quality is fantastic. So definitely keeping. And this one is probably the my least favorite when it comes to packaging. I don't know, I just feel like it's just not as sturdy as the other two. And this is, I never know what the name of this palette is. So I always say P. Louise is cancelled, but no, it's the Nude Edition issue 1, which leads me to believe that she will be creating more in this style. So it's a full neutral palette. I absolutely love it. It's so beautiful. It's one of the palettes that I recommend if looking for a neutral palette and you don't know where to start. Like this literally has all the matte and shimmer shades you will need for those neutral looks. So definitely keeping is the Love Tapes palette, and this one comes with 2 highlighters on either side, and this is a very romantic palette. I wore this over Valentine's period. I absolutely love the color story. So pretty, so pink. It's just really, really pretty. Like you guys can tell, I am struggling holding these palettes because they're so bulky, but they are fabulous. So definitely keeping. Up, I've got palettes from Medeaij Signature. This came in a bundle like this. This is the skewer bundle. Most likely not going to keep everything in this bundle because I didn't particularly like all of the colors. But this one is the caramel skewer, which looks like this. Very beautiful colors. The tones, especially passion fruit and currant apple, are very, very pretty. So I'm going to keep this one. And I think I'm going to take them out of the box packaging just so that it's easier for me to reach for. So that's one. And then the next one is the Juicy Skewer palette. They come in sleeves. I do have a full tutorial review using all of these palettes, so definitely check the channel if you're looking for it. So this is this one. This one as well performed really well, and I love the colors of this one. Very, very pretty. So I'm gonna keep this. This one I enjoyed. Any discount codes I have with any of these brands will be on my link tree in my description box. So definitely have a look because I do have a discount code with Medeaij Signature. This one is Exotic Skewer. This one looks like this. Very pretty as well. Those green tones are absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So I'm keeping this one. I think the one, yeah, I'm keeping this one. The one I didn't particularly enjoy is the last one, and that one is the tropical. There's the tropical skewer. I didn't enjoy the color story, but some of the shimmer shadows still performed really well, but some of the mattes as well didn't perform as well. So this is the tropical skewer, and this is the color story. Really isn't my thing, and some of the matte shades didn't perform well, but then some of them were outstanding. So I'm not gonna hang on to this one. I think I'm gonna let this one go. So we'll declutter, and I'll take the eyeshadows out of the packaging and get rid of the packaging. I really like the way they came, but just for storage purposes and for ease of use, I don't think having it in that type of packaging will encourage me to use it. Signature, I've got the Apple palette, and again, I have a review of this on my channel, and it literally looks like a real life big apple. And I do enjoy the color story of this one. I could have done away with the glitter, like I'm indifferent when it comes to it, but you see that middle shade at the heart of the palette, the red one, sickening. Like very, very pretty. Love how thin the eyeshadow palette is as well. I feel like it's a very good palette. And I do have their other eyeshadow palettes because I do work with them. So I'm gonna hang on to this one because I enjoy it. Just gonna have to figure out a way of storing it. Okay. Next up, I have the Morphe X Jeffree Star eyeshadow palette, and I've shown this in so many collection videos, and believe it or not, believe it or not, believe it or not, I haven't used it still. I still have not used this palette. Like, what am I like? I still haven't used it. And am I gonna use it? Am I really gonna use it? I don't know. I don't think so. So I don't have the packaging of this anymore, but I think I'm going to declutter. I think I'm gonna sell it. Um, I purchased it when everything kind of happened with Jeffree Star, but I haven't used it. The Avani Greg palettes. Oh, this is Morphe X Avani Greg. I don't really know her. I've only heard of her through the collaboration, but I did enjoy using the eyeshadow palette. I do think it's a beauty. It has those water activated liners as well, similar to the what's it called? The main event palette. Um the colors are stunning. You've got dark tones, you've got some really, really interesting colors. I don't care for the glitter, but it's not as bad. So I'm going to keep this one. I had to change the angle of the camera because these palettes are heavy and my arm was dying. The Nikita palette. Nikita palette. I'm saying Nikita palette because your girl hasn't used it. I still haven't used this palette and I don't know why. I'm very reluctant to declutter my Morphe palettes. Very, very reluctant because I love them and I love the formulation. And this isn't a how many eyeshadow palettes can I get rid of. So I think I'm going to keep this one. I don't have a reason to declutter that one. It's just me not using it. Okay, so this is the Lisa Frank palettes. Literally the cute little tiger one. And this is the 35B palette. So a lot of you have had the 35B. I've never had it, but I do like the gradation of colors. I love the matte shades. I love the shimmer shadows. It's actually in portrait style, hence why the names are written that way. And there's quite a lot of matte shadows compared to the shimmer shadows. So I do like so I do like Lisa Frank stationery. I do like the color story of the eyeshadow palette. I am gonna keep this one. I feel like I'm chatting shit. But yeah, no justification. I'm keeping that one. Ooh, that was hard. Okay. Oh, this one. This one isn't going anywhere. This is the 35D Desert Bouquet palette. I have a video tutorial review of this eyeshadow palette. And to be honest, I actually prefer these Morphe palettes without a mirror. Like, they're really, really good. Anyway, this is what this one looks like. And I love this palette. This is perfect for fall. This is perfect for the party season. You've got light, nice pops of color, jewel tones in here. The matte shadows are gorgeous. I love the color story of this palette and I love the performance of it. So this one is definitely staying. At least I can say that I've used this palette, so very happy. And then this is the, let's do the first one. So this is the Jaclyn Hill palette. I had the original, but I gave the original to my sister, so I bought another one. And I know there's a lot of stuff going around, people saying that the formulation is different, blah 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 blah. To be honest, I don't notice any difference. I've used this a few times, and as I said, I get along with Morphe palettes, so I don't know what I was looking for. I feel like the performance was great. The neutral tones are gorgeous, pops of color. This palette is what I was hoping the Color Pop what's the name? Uh yeah, the Color Pop palette that I decluttered. If you've watched the series, it's kind of the formulation I was hoping for, but didn't get. So definitely keeping this one. Volume 2 is the recent one that she came out with that some people hate it, some people love it. I'm one of those people that love it. I created a few looks using this on my YouTube channel as well. And this will always be a classic. I feel like she does eyeshadow really well. And her color story or color palette is very, very good. The only thing I'd have liked to see is a more diverse range of browns because there's quite a lot of similar looking browns. So it'd be nice to get some depth in those browns. But Jaclyn, honey, if you're listening, we need deeper browns. Okay, so I'm keeping that one. Let's do all my Morphe first. Next is the 35 Glow Supernatural, the 35O Supernatural Glow palette. And this one, oh yeah, this one I've used as well. And because it has exactly what I love, cool tone browns, warm tone browns with pops of orange for blending, some beautiful shimmers. This is a very easy neutral eyeshadow palette, like you don't really need to think about it. So I like to keep the names. That's what you can hear. So I'm keeping this one. Next, I have the old 35G bronze goals. So this came out in the limited edition packaging, and I've known for a long time. Like, let me show you mine. I used this a lot. Like, this palette has been loved. It's been used quite well, but the shadows are pretty old now. So I bought the same palette in the black packaging, and sadly, I'm going to declutter this one. So let me show you the 35G. The 35G that I bought is this one. I kept it in the package because I was still using the limited edition one. It's time for it to be swapped. So this is the one that we're going to be using now. And I'm going to get rid of the limited edition one. Yeah, she was loved. So this one is staying. Limited edition is going. Next up is the 35C Everyday Chick palette. And this one I feel didn't get as much love when it came out like it should. The greens in this palette is my dream. Like you've got these you've got these greens, these nice pinky colors, some really cool tone colors that I absolutely love and adore. And I feel like it didn't get as much love from the beauty community like it should have. This is up there with some of my favorite eyeshadow palettes. Like the color story is so unique. I don't have anything like that. Like pinks with greens, I don't have. 35F, Fall into Fabulous. This is a fabulous eyeshadow palette. Why is mine wet? What it looks like. You've got more shimmers than mattes in this one. So I feel like it's a very good eyeshadow palette to use with the other Morphe palettes that are very matte heavy. So I'm keeping this one. 35F, Fall into Fabulous. You can see I have a lot of Morphe palettes, like a lot. This one is 35P palette. This is a plum one. This is Plum Pleasers. Plum Pleasers is a full plum eyeshadow palette, perfect for the season. Very sultry, dark plums, beautiful shimmer shadows. I love, I just love the depth. I love the range of colors, and I love that there's a black in there. I need to dust this one out and use it. So pretty. 35M Boss Mood Palettes. If you are into Morphe shadows, like you just love Morphe shadows, then you're going to appreciate this one. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous eyeshadow palette. I absolutely love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. The color story is right up my alley. I feel like this is an all year round type of eyeshadow palette, especially the fact that I really like dark, grungy colors. This kind of gives me everything that I need. I love it. Next is the 3503 Fierce by Nature eyeshadow palette. This is what it looks like. This is the eyeshadow palette that I was saying one of the other Morphe palettes kind of reminds me of. So I'm going to grab that one. On the top is the 18S palette. So there are some shades. I feel there are some shades that are, yeah, some, but not quite. Now that I'm looking at it. So I think I'm going to keep it. 35H Hotspot Palettes. I like this one. I haven't been able to use it, but I like that it's split between cool and warm tone colors. I love blues, you know that. So I could have had a whole palette full of blues and I would be happy, but I do like the fact that they split it. I think it's fun. I do feel like a black is missing though. A black would be great, but I guess you can pull a black from any palette. Okay, so this one is the 35W Warm It Up, and it did come broken. Like one shadow came broken, but I love the cool tone colors. I love that it has a black, all the good stuff, all the things that I like in a palette. I have it in this one, so I'm gonna keep this one. At the end of Morphe palettes. So this is the 35XO Natural Flirt palettes, and I have not. I forgot that I bought this palette. What am I like? Look at that. Tell me this doesn't remind you of the Natasha Denona Love palette. Like it really does. It really and truly, truly and really does. But I can't part with it. I just can't. Especially as I haven't used it. I just feel like I bought it and I didn't use it. It just doesn't make sense. And the big Morphe 39A palette, I used this a lot this year actually. Very proud to say. But it's such a big palette that it's gonna look like I haven't used it at all. But I promise you, there was a time when it lived on my vanity and I used it because it's so easy to use. It's so versatile. I've got those neutral colors. I even used some of those neutral colors to blend out my face because of the color. So this is a really good option if you don't want the brightness from the James Charles palette. Definitely check out this one. So let's do some Be Perfect palettes. So I have the Carnival palettes, and I don't know why I bought the Carnival palette and also bought the Carnival XL, but this is the Carnival palette, and this one has really nice colors, and this one has some really beautiful shimmers, not shimmers, highlighters, and very beautiful, colorful colors, if you like. But I almost feel like I didn't need this one because obviously I bought the XL palette, and obviously not all the colors are repeated, but some are. So I think I'm going to declutter this one and I'm going to keep the XL Carnival. This is what it looks like. It's just a bigger version of the Carnival palette. I do believe that there are one or two shadows that are not here, but I mean, I've got so many colors here and so many other colors in other palettes. Am I really missing that one or two shadows? No. So I'm gonna get rid of the Carnival. I'm definitely gonna keep this one. What? Ooh, if you watched my review and comparison of the Mardi Gras and Carnival 3, you know that this is supposed to be a dupe of the Be Perfect palette. It's a decent dupe, but obviously I prefer the Carnival 3 palette because the quality is better. So I'm gonna get rid of this, but I'm just gonna show you. It's exactly the same layout, same color story. Formula is slightly different, but same. So this is gonna go. We're gonna declutter her, and then the Carnival 3 definitely is going to stay in my collection because it's a beauty, it's a beast. I love it. The colors, the formula, everything about this palette makes me happy. I do want to pick up the latest Be Perfect Stacey Marie palette. I'm just waiting for the right time in terms of sales, but this is a stunner. She makes really good palettes as well. Like her color stories are on point. And then got some. This is the Profusion Wanderlust palette. And I haven't opened it, so I'm not gonna break the seal. This is a brand new palette, but the colors I did I buy this or was I sent this? I can't remember. But I know there are a few people here on YouTube that really love this palette. But to be honest, I can't justify keeping this palette because I'm not going to use it. So we're going to declutter. I also have the Earth palette from Revolution, and I've used this in a tutorial here on YouTube. And this is such an inexpensive palette, but it packs a punch. It packs a bloody punch. It's very, very good. Beautiful mattes, beautiful shimmers. It performs really well. Very impressed by it. So I am keeping this one. Let's do the rest of my Beauty Bay palettes. So I have the Evolve 42 eyeshadow palette. She's a big girl, this one. Ooh, if I can fold, yeah. So there are a lot of mattes and a lot of shimmers in this palette. It's a big one. And I do like it. I mean, Beauty Bay formulation is fantastic. So this is a neutral girl's dream. If you just like those grungy pops of color, there's green, there's purple, there's silver. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna say. I'm a keeper. She's a keeper. Also on the bigger side of the Beauty Bay palettes, I've got the Fiery 2.0 palette. This is also a 42-pound palette. And this will rank as one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes from this year. I'm not even sure if it came out this year, but I know I purchased it this year. And look at her in all of her glory. Those reds, those neutrals, the orange. This is a beautiful eyeshadow palette. If you couldn't get your hands on a new romantic, you could probably pick this one up and still get the same vibe of the new romantic. Like the last two rolls and the second roll as well kind of screams new romantic for me. So, she's staying. Okay, so I have the Technique Marrakesh eyeshadow palette. This was gifted from Makeup for Days, Tolu. She sent this to me, and this is supposed to be a dupe for the Boss Mood palette. It is a dupe for the Boss Mood palette. There's so many people that did comparison. I didn't bother doing it because everyone was doing it. And I don't even think you can pick up the Boss Mood palette from Morphe anymore, but anyway, this was a gift, and I am not gonna declutter it because I love it. Unless if one of my nieces wants to play with the palette, but it was a gift, so she's staying. And then I've got the BH Cosmetics Naughty palette. This was last year's Christmas palette. I'm actually quite intrigued to see what they come out with this year. I really like this one because it spoke to my love of jewel tone shades. Plus, the formulation and pigmentation of this palette is amazing. Like, the color story is on point. I just wish that the packaging didn't scream Christmas so much. But it is what it is. The last palette hiding in the corner is my Jeffree Star blood sugar palette that is brand new. Don't even ask me why and how I have it. I just do because I don't know. So, shall we not talk about it? Should we not? Are we not? I don't even know. I am going to declutter this one. Finally gonna sell it. It's brand new, so she's gonna go. And then I have some single shadows here and my book of shadows from Colored Rain. I actually finished it. So I don't know if I ever showed you, but I actually did finish curating mine. So let's show you from the beginning. Okay, so this is the first page. Got pinks, neutrals, you know, pinky neutrals. And then the second page, I've got my blues and purples. I'm missing one shade because I took it out to do a look, but that's what it looks like. I didn't do too bad. I know I didn't do too bad. And then the last one, my neutrals. You know, I didn't do too bad. I think I did really well. I love how sturdy this is. This is so heavy. Feels like a book and I love it. And then this is just my some of my ColourPop shadows I refuse to let go of. Like I have no business keeping it, but I refuse to let go of it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to count how many eyeshadow palettes I'm keeping and how many I'm decluttering in this video. And then I'm going to take time to rearrange my entire eyeshadow collection, move things around, and then I'll show you the final. So let me count how many. I'm not going to count the Colored Rain book and the palette of singles. I'm just going to count the eyeshadow palettes. Okay, so I'm keeping 32 eyeshadow palettes in this one and I'm decluttering 7. Because I didn't have that many eyeshadow palettes here anyway, compared to everywhere else in my collection. So yeah, let's dive into sorting this out. Oh, that took a hot minute. So this is my collection and this is the top. So the way I've arranged it now, apologies if my camera's shaking, I'm holding it. The way I've arranged it now, the top layer has my colorful eyeshadow palettes, but not the overly bright colorful eyeshadow palettes. Okay, so not the rainbow colors, but the more colorful eyeshadow palettes. Second layer is by far my favorite. I bought this handbag. I've got this little bag. It is a white version from a black owned brand that I found on TikTok named Jetom London. I also have 3 bags coming from her and I absolutely love it. So I've got space for those 3 bags. And so this place is probably going to get reorganized once those bags come. I'll see if I can pop in a clip of it before posting the video. But anyway, right now I've put my handbag, so the green one, the black one. I've also put my Marc Jacobs Decadence because this is a very sentimental fragrance for me. So I don't wear it often because it's very sentimental. My husband got it for me and I love it. Look, I haven't even used it that much. I love it. Anyway, and then the Revolution Pro eyeshadow palette, the So Jaded one. I believe that's what it's called. So Jaded, yeah. Um I thought it's just, it looks cute. It's an accent and I do like the packaging. And then here I'm celebrating my P. Louise palettes rather than keeping them at the base of my collection because they're bulky. I feel like this layer works. Just imagine more handbags in there. So I've got the P. Louise palettes and I've also got my gorgeous Pat McGrath palette. Took it out of the box, but also feel like the box is very beautiful. And I've got my two Aether Beauty palettes that I love because the shape is so unique. So why not celebrate it? Then here I've got my neutral palette. Ooh, lost the nail. Well, here I've got my neutral palettes. These are neutral eyeshadow palettes, like all through. Neutral. Some of them are neutral but have pops of color in them. But I based my neutral on like very light colors, cool tones, browns, pops of color, that kind of thing. Like, yeah. Anyway, it makes sense to me. And then down here, so this layer I had to split it in two because of space. So on this side, I've got all my neutral palettes, so an overflow of neutrals. And then from the blueprint palette all the way down are all colorful eyeshadow palettes. So day and night type of thing. And then at the bottom here, I've got my colorful colorful eyeshadow palette. So you've got the rainbows, you've got the grunge, you've got the pops of color, all the way to the back. Okay. And that's it. I mean, I've never actually coordinated my eyeshadow palettes in this fashion, kind of like neutrals and colors and like splitting them up. I've always kept my eyeshadow palettes by brand, but really I don't pull for eyeshadow palettes by brand, more or less pull by color story. So hopefully this works out better, but I definitely love the setup. I'm so happy that I have this space as well. I also adjusted my layers just to keep them more compact. Also created a little bit more space in the second layer. And that's it. So I'm going to put on the screen how many eyeshadow palettes I have in total and how many eyeshadow palettes I am decluttering, just so that you know what the figures are. Because obviously, I feel like we've done a really good job because I'm able to have this space, and it's perfect. It works out perfectly. The eyeshadow palettes work and they fit in perfectly. So yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this declutter series, this or rather this declutter video for my eyeshadow palettes. If I get any more eyeshadow palettes, which I don't think I will be buying any, but if I get sent any more eyeshadow palettes, I will definitely pop a clip of them at this point before rounding up the video. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. And if you've watched all 5 parts, you're the real MVP. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me. And definitely keep on watching, like, watch more of my videos. Why not? And please share it with your friends and family. We really need to increase views and subscriber count on this channel. So, whatever you can do to support your girl will be greatly appreciated. And I will catch you in a future video. Remember, God doesn't like ugly. Be nice to someone today, and Black Lives will always matter. And I'll catch you soon. Bye.